Hello guys, how are you doing? Back again with a cool new story from Jordan this time. I'm not sure of the time when it happened, but it's definitely within the 2000 years or the 1990 and above. Because the advanced investigation technology wasn't available, so the case got solved by God's grace only. This story is gonna tell you how a woman killed 5 men without seeing them. 5 grown-up men without seeing any of them. Stay tuned. It's a very interesting story, so you can hear the details. Let's start. So this story happened in Jordan, and it's of a guy called Abu Abdul. He had 4 daughters and 1 son, and he had this shop where he was selling meat, and he has a kitchen where he cooked that meat, so people come to him to prepare for parties or for dinners. It's like the Arabic delis you see here and there, the markets where they have groceries, and then they have a deli in the side where they do shawarma and kebab and burgers and all this stuff, good stuff. Made me hungry. So he did that, and this guy was really bad man. He wasn't honest, so when people bring the meat to him and tell him, hey, cook our meat, some people buy the meat from him, some people bring their own meat because he wasn't even fair with the prices. He overpriced meat, so people bring him the meat, so he cook it for them. When they bring the meat to him, he usually keep quarter of it or half of it for himself and cook them some of it, not all of it. So if they brought for him like 5 pounds or 10 pounds, usually Arabs have big families, and they cook big amounts of meat, or if they have a gathering or a big dinner for where the family is gathering, it's usually a big amount of meat. So he would keep portion of it without telling them. And he wasn't even shy about it. He wasn't even hiding it. His son knew about it. He would put it in the refrigerators in his kitchen. His wife knew about it, and she told him, dude, karma will hunt your ass, so don't do these things. It's unethical. Our money is not blessed, and you will pay for that one day. He said, woman, shut up. And he just yelling at her, telling her, what are you talking about? This is not what's going on. It is my right to keep it because I'm cooking for them with a very cheap price, so this is my compensation. Don't worry about it. And he would never listen to her or to his son, and his son wasn't even approving of it. He was really worried about it, and he would refuse even to eat or touch that meat because he knows it's stolen and it's not blessed. One day a customer came to them. His name is Abu Said. By the way, I have to explain to you guys, since this is a big window, my channel is a big window to other cultures. When you call somebody Abu Ali or Abu Said, it means Jacob dad, Joseph dad, Brian dad. And it's when a guy is married and older and he has kids, you don't call them by their first name, you call them by their sons' names. It's more respectful, so everybody there is calling people by that if they are married and have kids. It's out of respect. It expresses respect, especially from younger people, but people call each other like that. Like me, my uncles and my cousins, I don't know some of them, their names. We forgot their names because we call them Abu and Abu and Abu. So they call him Abu Abdul because he had a son, his name is Abdullah. So they call him Abu Abdul, which is his only son. And this new customer who came to visit him is called Abu Samir. Abu Samir is married to a very bitchy woman. You will know the details soon. She's very bitchy, she's controlling, she's not a good woman because in that part of the world, people live together, like the grandma, the grandpa, the son and the wife and the grandkids. Sometimes 2 or 3 brothers live together with their families in the family house. It's the norm. You don't leave the family. Like in the Western world, it's kind of shameful to live with your family. There it's the norm. You have to. It's kind of, you have to. So they took care of you when you were young. You take care of them when they're older, so they don't stay alone. And they enjoy being around their grandkids, and you save on rent. It's a lot of benefits. This guy, his mom lived with him, not his dad. His dad, I think, passed away. So his mom suffered so much from his bitchy wife. She always caused troubles. She always was complaining. And it was like his life was miserable because of this wife. When she get angry at him, she would just stay angry for days. And it's not even his fault. It's her fault. One day he came back from work, and he kept threatening her, like not threatening her, talking with her in a respectful way. Hey, this is my mom, you can't do this. But she wouldn't listen. She always find a way, and she will always blame his mom. Of course, older people start acting like kids when they get older, as we say, but we still shouldn't yell at them or bug them or bother them or challenge them out of respect. Anyway, one day he came back from work, and his mom was crying. He asked her what happened. She said nothing happened, like usual. It's her fault, and now she wanna blame me, and she's crying. He asked his mom, and he said no, and his mom didn't want to say anything. She was that nice of a lady. She didn't want to cause troubles for her son and a conflict between him and his wife. She accepted her the way she is, that she will never treat her well. That's her nature, and she's just evil. Until her son insisted on her, and she said, yeah, she hit me. Oh my God. So that's a massive flaw, a big problem, to hit your mom. Some guys don't care, but he loved his mom. He's a good son. That's a really big sin, even in that culture. Karma could get you really bad if you bug your mom or hit your mom or bother your mom, let alone hit her. So this was the straw that broke the camel back, as they say there. He didn't talk to her at all. He didn't blame her, because he already warned her before and talked to her several times before. And he even asked the kids what happened, and the kids confirmed that his mom is not lying, and that his wife is lying, that she hit his mom over something stupid. Usually girls do that. In some cultures it's really bad, but they do that, bug the mom so she lives on her own, so the woman have her own kingdom, as they say. They don't know that the blessing is taking care of an older person, and your house will be more blessed if you take care of an older person than kicking them out. Probably they want their freedom. Probably she want to be on her own. I don't know. Have the place for herself. Anyway, the husband didn't talk to his wife at all, didn't do anything. The mom asked him politely to go and move with his other brother, an older brother that he has. And that's it. The mom moved there, and the husband kept coming from work and going back from work without talking to her, without doing anything to her, and she was devastated. If he hit her, that would be better for her than him staying silent, giving her the silent treatment. He even went further than that. He wouldn't eat her food. He wouldn't eat with her. He would go and eat with his brother and stay there whole day, and then come back at home at night to check on the kids, sleep, and the next day in the morning will go back to work. And that's how was his life for 2-3 months. She spoke with him, not 2-3 months, maybe I think a month and a half. She spoke with him a couple times, but he would refuse to talk to her about the matter, because she kicked his mom out. It's done deal. Okay, he warned her a couple times and she wouldn't listen. The rumor reached the wife that the husband is planning to get married again. Polygamy is allowed in that culture. You can have up to 4 wives. I know it's a very interesting topic to you guys. It's a real marriage. Every woman has the same rights, but you can plan to give them the same amount of a grocery. You can plan to give them the same type of house at the same level, but you can never plan to give them the same amount of emotions. We cannot control our hearts, and that's the hard part about it, and that's the part that women are afraid of. It's not for all men. There is laws around it. It's not for everybody. It's just for those who needs it. If the woman cannot have kids, you don't want to divorce her and throw her in the street. And you could marry another woman and have other kids if she have a disease, or some men needs physically, intimately more than one woman, and one woman is not enough. So, and it's not for all women. Some women accept it, some women don't. And you don't do it in secret. It's public. It's more respectful. You don't have the woman as a mistress, then you have an illegal kid. So it has so much benefits, and those societies believe in it, and it's in their book, in their faith. It's known. However, if someone has a situation like his, the woman is bitchy, she doesn't do her job, she's not a good companion, he doesn't want to cause troubles or break her heart, she has kids and he doesn't want to divorce her or get her angry at him, telling her that he want to marry another woman, he would do it in secret. It's happened before, it's allowed, but it's frowned upon. So she heard the news that his brother, not his brother house, has his kids, his wife, and his wife's sister. His wife's sisters came to help in the house because the brother wife has a cancer, so she's helping her sister with the kids and cooking, and since his mom moved in too, so she's cooking for everybody and helping in the house. She was in her 20s, a young girl. Abu Said was probably in his 40s, early 40s, late 30s, and she was really pretty girl. Girls from that part, Iraq, Lebanon, Jordan, maybe you notice, they are very pretty because they are mixed between the Romans and all the invasions that happened, so they are mixed blood. They have white people, blue eyes, they have tan people with colorful eyes, and it's just really beautiful combination. So most girls there are really beautiful, so she was one of those. So the rumor reached the wife that her husband is planning to marry again, and it's that girl in the house. Immediately she decided to go and drop them a visit. She called them and said, I want to come on a visit, I want to see my mom-in-law. And they welcomed her, they didn't say anything. And after that she started talking directly to her mom-in-law. I apologize, I didn't mean it to happen like that. She was really concerned. She didn't care about the mom-in-law, she just want to save her marriage and her husband from marrying another woman. And she wanted to see that other girl, and it confirmed to her that she's a pretty, and she does live with them. And she just freaked out again. So she decided to do her best not to make that happen. Her mom-in-law was really nice. She said, yeah, I'm not angry at you, I just want to take a break and try to stay with my other son instead of staying with you guys all this time. And in reality, she loved her son Abu Samir so much that she chose to be with him. Anyway, and the visit went very well. Abu Samir's wife left after that, but her mom-in-law stayed there. Her husband stayed not talking to her, and he stayed going to that house. So she knew that it's gonna happen no matter what, and it's a done deal. So she asked her daughter one day to cry when her father leaves at night, and ask him to take her to her uncle's house and stay with him there. She said, tell your dad that you miss him and you don't want to stay with me anymore, so he take you with him so you see what's going on. And that's how she confirmed that he's still want to marry that girl and continue with his plan. And her daughter started carrying everything they say among each other there. She was like a spy. She was 8 years old. She was like a spy, telling her everything they talk about or what they plan to do, and tell her mom. That's how she knew when the wedding day is gonna happen and what's gonna happen, really, between her husband and the girl in his brother's house. What happened after that is mind-blowing. The story hasn't started yet, so buckle up and I'll tell you all the details now. So one day the woman knew that day her husband, Abu Said wife, the bitchy woman, she knew that day, that night, her husband is gonna get engaged to his wife. Usually when they do that, they bring the religious man, they read the vows, but the actual wedding ceremony happens in another day they plan for, but they have to make it legal not in the holy place, in the mosque, and things get done legally in the mosque in front of God. Then they take those papers and do the marriage legally and have it solidified in the church, in the court, I mean, not church, sorry. So they do it in the religious place, in the mosque, with the sheikh, and then so they can touch each other and see each other, because they are conservative in that culture. You cannot date the girl or go out with her. You have to be in front of a religious man, write the marriage document, show your real intentions, and then you can go out with her in public. Otherwise they can meet in secret, but they cannot go in public like that without the marriage contract. It's really frowned upon, and that's when honor killing happen, when somebody suspects something sexual, or they are seeing each other behind the family knowledge. It's really bad. So that's how conservative families are there. Everybody's like that. You don't even ask the girl if she's virgin or not. It's granted that she's virgin if she never been married. It's an insult. You cannot ask a girl like that. All girls are virgins if they are not married, supposed to be. There are bad ones, they call them bad apples here and there, but 99.9% is like that. That being said, she knew about that day, that they are gonna do the marriage contract in the mosque in front of the sheikh. And usually after they do it, they do a dinner gathering and party. So she played like she doesn't care, or she wanna take care of the dinner, and she told her husband they wanna make the meat and take it to Abu Abdul shop, so he cook it in a really nice way that suits the occasion. So back to Abu Abdul now. Abu Abdul, knowing his nature and how he does business, he always keeps some of the meat. Abu Samir, when his wife suggested that she will take care of the meat and spice it up and make it nice, so when Abu Abdul cook it, it's gonna become really delicious, he didn't know that his wife was planning to poison the food. What she did is that she took arsenic, I think that's its name, and dissolved it in water, or boiled it in water so it melts, and then she soaked the meat over a night in that solution. Oh my god. You know that a little bit of arsenic is a very potent poison. She soaked the meat the entire night there, and the next day she gave it to Abu Samir, and she told him the meat is ready, and he took it to Abu Abdul shop. Abu Abdul took some of the meat and put it in the refrigerator, and then cooked the meat, and his son gave it to his son Abdul to deliver it to Abu Samir's house. He gave his son the delivery, and unfortunately, guess what happened? Unfortunately, when Abdul left the house in his motorcycle, he had a severe car accident. A car hit him out of the blue. The food gets scattered on the floor. An ambulance carried him to the hospital, and back then they didn't have cell phones. That's why I said the story happened I think in the 90s and in the early 2000s. There was no phones. Abu Abdul didn't know why his son never came back. He was so concerned. He finished the work and went back home, and he thought his son is there. Maybe he's tired or something happened to him, or he's got sick and went back home, but he wasn't there. Immediately he called the police. His mom was so concerned. the police had a report of the accident, and they told him, yes, your son is in the hospital. Or probably the son told the hospital to send somebody to his dad and tell him he's in the hospital. I'm not sure how the information got to the dad. So either the son told him through somebody, or the dad asked the police and they told him his son is in the hospital. And that's how he found out. Abu Samir never got the food for his dinner, so he went outside asking Abu Abdul, where is the food? And he told him, I gave it to my son. He never delivered it to you? He said, no, he never delivered it to me. And then Abu Samir bought chickens from Abu Abdul. He bought some other food from Abu Abdul and took it to his party and event, and they ate it, all of them. Of course, his daughter was there, and his wife told her daughter, when they present food, don't eat from that food at all. No matter what happens, even if they force you, don't eat from it. Of course, she said no when her father gave her some of the chickens. Of course, when a kid is served food, of course they want to eat. How dumb does she think that her daughter won't eat food at all the whole day, the whole night when she's with her father and his family? Of course she's gonna eat some. That was so dumb from her. She actually jeopardized her daughter's life. The daughter, of course, ate some of the food, and in the meanwhile, while the party was going on and the food was eaten, Abu Abdul cooked some of Abu Samir food, and of course it's full of arsenic. He died in his shop. Next day he has been found in the shop dead, with foam coming out of his mouth and everything. And the guy who found out Abu Abdul on the shop floor dead with foam coming out of his mouth, he immediately called the police. The police called the ambulance. They took him to the hospital, but they declared him dead, and they did some blood test, and given how he was being found with foam coming out of his mouth, they found out he has been poisoned. Immediately they accused or questioned the man who brought him to the hospital or reported to the police. They asked him what happened, when did you find him, how do you know him, and they confirmed that it has nothing to do with him. But they kept him under investigation just to make sure what happened. And the police recognized the man in the hospital, because the police came to the hospital to investigate and see what's going on. When the hospital management called them, the hospital recognized the man, and they told him, yeah, this guy came and visited his son yesterday, because his son had a car accident with us. And it was really confusing for the police officers, like, what's going on? Who hates this man? What did he do? Does he have an enemies? And his son confirmed no. They contacted the wife and she said no. And there are no clues in the shop. Back then there was no cameras, so nobody knows what's going on. The girl came back next day. Of course they don't have phones, so the girl enjoyed the party, ate the food with her dad. They enjoyed the engagement. Next day the girl went back to her mom, and she told her what happened in the party, and the mom told her, did you eat? She said, of course mom, I ate. They insisted. I did say no, but they insisted that I eat, so I ate some chickens. The mom wasn't paying attention that it's not meat, that it's chickens. She freaked the hell out. She thought her daughter's gonna die. She ran to the hospital and started crying and yelling at them, please help my daughter, she's gonna die, she's gonna die. They told her, man, what's going on? She looks healthy, why would she die? She said, no, she has a poison, it's not yet in her system, she's gonna die definitely soon. But she thought that the poison didn't affect her daughter, but with time it will. She was that dumb. She jeopardized her daughter's life. She was so evil. She wanted to kill everybody in the family to get rid of her husband. She was so jealous. She wanted to kill everybody in the family out of jealousy and anger, not caring that her daughter might eat of that food. She ran to the hospital and she said, yeah, she must have eaten arsenic, and the hospital gave her the treatment, or I don't know what to call it in English, when they let them drink some type of special fluid and makes them vomit everything in the family, in the stomach. They gave her the treatment despite the fact that she didn't have symptoms or anything, but because of the mom reaction. They asked her a couple of questions. She said no, nothing happened, but I think she played with the solutions underneath the sink. And they asked the girl, she said no, I just ate food with my father. Of course they document the incidents and then they forget about it. Couple hours passed, and again another ambulance arrived to the hospital with 4 men, exactly same symptoms like Abu Abdul. They have been found dead in their apartment, and foam was coming out of their mouth, and they were like 4 men who ordered a meal from Abu Abdul the previous night. And of course Abu Abdul cooked from the meat that Abu Samir brought, the meat that is poisoned, and he ate some of that food. That's how Abu Abdul passed away or got poisoned. These men took that food, went to their apartment and ate it, and of course they died. One of them had a little bit of life in him, and he crawled outside the door asking for help, that we got food poisoning. He thought that he got food poisoning because the food was sitting out for longer than it should be. He didn't know that it has arsenic. So somebody saw him and asked the ambulance, but of course the man died before even the ambulance reached their home. And that's how they got found dead in their apartment, and that guy was carried to the hospital. When they reached to the hospital, they had exact same symptoms like Abu Abdul. The incident was fresh, so the doctors in the emergency rooms were aware of what's going on from the previous night and this night. They called the police, and the police came back, and they questioned the guy who called the ambulance. What happened? Do you know these people? Do you have any information? And the guy said, no, I never met these people. One of them was crawling and crying for help, so I just took him to the hospital, and I found out his friends laying down on the floor, and you guys picked them up, and I don't know what happened after that. Only now I know they have been poisoned with arsenic. Of course they kept the guy because the investigation is not done and the dots are not connected yet for the police, so they kept the guy information with them, but they released him because he just, as he said, he just called the police, and he doesn't know these people. When the police gathered this information, one of them said, wait a minute, isn't this the same like the guy from last night? And is it connected? The doctors then interfered and told them, hey, a lady came complaining that her daughter is poisoned with arsenic this morning, because the men were found afternoon, I think, or something like that. They told the doctors told the police, hey, this woman came complaining of the same food that is poisoned with arsenic, and she was worried about her daughter, but the daughter didn't die. Do you want her information or to talk to her where she got this meat from? Maybe you can find a clue, or you can find who did it. The police were so happy about this tip, and immediately they called the lady. They got her information from the hospital. Of course, they called the lady and told her to come to the police station, or I think they asked her to drop a visit in her house. As soon as they met the lady and questioned her, she said she doesn't know about anything, and that she doesn't know what her daughter ate, or why she's not dead, or what happened to her daughter. And she again lied about why her daughter got poisoned, that she probably drank some of the solutions underneath the sink. They went and asked the daughter, And she told them a complete different story. Only then they knew that the woman knows something that she doesn't want to talk about, and she's worried or afraid that she's gonna get busted. They held her under custody. They pressured her to talk, and eventually she broke down crying. She said, I didn't mean it like that, and I didn't want to kill my husband's family. I was just jealous, and I want to stop all this second marriage, but thank God nobody died. They told her, ma'am, nobody died from your husband's family, but you killed 5 men. You killed the Abu Abdul, the guy who owned the shop or the restaurant that cooked the meat, and you killed 4 other men that he served food for. Of course, karma hunted all these people asses, because Abu Abdul did bad business with people and stole from people and took advantage of them. And those 4 men were members of a gang that was stealing from people, invading homes, breaking into houses and cars, and they were causing so much chaos and drama in the town. So God took care of them, but it's not her job and to do that. She killed them by accident, but it's God's word that those bad people got what they deserve. But of course she carry a massive responsibility, killing innocent people with an arsenic. She collapsed. She freaked out and she told him she didn't mean it, but it's a done deal. It's too late. And in those culture, a soul is for a soul, so she got sentenced to death. And I think they after a year and a half she was executed. That's what the report says. And her husband lived happily ever after, and that's the end of the story. Take care, and please leave comments and like the video so it spread. You would do me a favor. And until next story, take care.